She only showed half of her face, and the man was instantly captivated. To have her, he didn't hesitate. He killed her husband. In that moment, he thought he had won the world. But strangely enough, the woman, Alice, didn't seem afraid at all. Instead, she asked David, the man, to carry her home. Her beauty was so overwhelming. David obeyed every word. He carried Alice on his back, racing home with a grin. David told Alice he was the ruler of this land, that even the clouds in the sky obeyed him. Alice laughed at his words. But then, her hairpin slipped and fell into the cliff below. "If the clouds listen to you," she said, "then fetching my hairpin should be easy. And if you can't find it, I won't marry you." David was troubled, but by nightfall, he finally found the hairpin deep in the cliff. When they returned home, Alice discovered David already had 7 wives. Alice refused to stay. She said she could never live with them, and asked David to kill them all. To keep her, David obeyed. He slaughtered 6 of them in an instant. But when he was about to kill the youngest wife, Alice stopped him. "She can stay," she said. "I need a servant." David thought life could finally calm down. But a few days later, Alice said she wanted to live in the capital. She was tired of eating wild game from the mountains. This meant David had to abandon his hard-won land. Wanting to change for her, David left for the capital to find a job. He wanted to become a worthy husband. But days passed, and a man who only knew how to fight couldn't find work. The city people were fake, always putting on a show. To fit in, David started dressing like them, but everyone could still tell he was just a countryman. He could never hide the smell of the mountains. David told Alice how hard it was, but Alice just pointed at the sword on his waist and said, "Why not just take what you want by force?" And so, every night, David robbed, burned, and killed. His wealth grew, and he even brought home the heads of princesses from the capital, because that was Alice's strange obsession. By now, David was consumed by bloodlust and desire. But one day, he finally realized the truth. Alice only saw him as a tool to fulfill her wishes. He thought about killing her, but in the end, he gave up. He longed to return to his old, quiet life in the mountains. While Alice was still fantasizing about the heads of princesses, David told her he was leaving. Alice was shocked. She thought David could never live without her. But he was done. He was ready to leave everything behind. Alice clung to him tightly. She said she would go with him, because she knew, without David, she had nothing. They set off for home, through the blooming cherry blossom forest of their homeland. David had never felt so at peace. But then, something strange happened. Alice's fingers began to dry up. Her skin lost all moisture. She was a ghost. David couldn't believe what he was seeing. Terrified and furious, he strangled her. But when it was over, the ghost turned back into Alice. Then the scene shifted again. Alice's corpse disappeared, and it was David lying there instead. In the end, it was revealed that Alice and the 7 wives might all have been pieces of David's own personality. He had killed off his timid, ordinary self, giving in to his darkest desires, until he became a monster who only knew how to kill. The 7th wife, the one who survived, was obedient and pure, perhaps representing David's childhood self, the last fragile thread of his sanity. Of course, this open-ended masterpiece leaves room for endless theories. Was Alice a supernatural temptress? Or did David simply lose himself to bloodlust? Whatever you believe, every interpretation is valid. So, what do you think about this story?